Hello and welcome to Market House, the podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name is Caleb.
And I'm Caitlin.
And in this week's episode, we ask the question, is Disney Prime really a thing?
And talk about Halloween at the Disneyland Resort.
Let's dive in. We are so excited to be diving in here on episode 47. And it's been a blast writing for this one because, like we mentioned already, Halloween time is here.
It's here and in our house, which I'm so excited.
Oh, goodness. So we spent pretty much half the day deep cleaning the house and decorating for Halloween.
And it's spooktacular.
It's spooktacular.
It smells delicious.
September, 106 degrees today.
Mm-hmm. And going up in a couple days.
Yes. And I know people are probably like, stop talking about the weather. But it's so hot. It's so hard not to talk about it. But anyways, it's hard for me to get into the Halloween vibes and the Halloween feelings when it's 100 degrees outside.
You know, I'm here for it. I got my candle burning next to us. We got Jack Skellington out. We got our Mickey pumpkin out. We are so ready.
We're living in the pumpkin season.
Yep.
Actually, speaking of pumpkin season, big surprise, we were at Starbucks finishing up the episode, writing it, and they have the pumpkin spice latte out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But if anyone works at Starbucks listening right now, please reach out to us on Instagram. I am genuinely curious. Did the rules change on what kind of music you guys can play in the store? Because they were playing, as much as I love this music, it just didn't fit with a coffee place. They were playing like 90s rap.
Yeah, and I feel like it depends on where you go as well, because we normally go to different Starbucks locations, and the music is different at every single one of them.
Like there's one that has the traditional, like either singer-songwriter style, like
coffee
chill.
house, yeah.
Yeah, or just not classical, but like jazz or something. But this one was straight up like just real bumpy
it was
rap
good,
music.
But it was weird.
Yeah, it was cool because you're like, oh, I like this music, but at the same time, I'm trying to focus, and it's very distracting and loud. So I'm curious.
Yeah,
are you allowed to play whatever you want?
Yeah, reach out and let us know.
Yeah.
Caleb's determined to
I want to figure this out
answer.
because it's just so, I don't know, it's odd to me. But enough about Starbucks and their music. Let's go ahead and dive into that news.
All right, so first up, we have some very exciting news over on the Disneyland West Coast side. If you joined us last week, we were discussing Disney World, and we had some news about Disney giving pass holders over there 30% off on merchandise, which is crazy. And if you listened last week, you know how much we were so sad about that, including myself.
We demanded the same thing for the West Coasters.
And the Disney gods heard us, because Disney has just announced that Disneyland Magic Key holders are going to be receiving 30% off select merchandise September 21st through...
Yes, so September 21st through October 14th, 30% off.
And this includes, which they highlighted for everyone, the Halloween merch. I'm so excited because we are going in September, aka this month, and we are going to be stocking up on merchandise, and I'm just so excited that it's going to be 30% off.
I am very confused. Trust me, I'm happy. I don't want to complain. I'm not complaining, but I am confused as to why they're doing this. They don't need to discount things because they fly off the shelves anyways. The one thing I can think of is, do you think they either received a ton of shipments that were late from last year? Do you remember how they were having a really hard time with getting stuff in, right?
Yeah, last year was hard. Like when it sold out, it was gone.
So I wonder if some of that is left over from last year and they just need to get rid of a ton, or is this a like good faith effort of like, sorry, we messed up Magic Key renewals, I don't know.
I'm assuming that Disney wouldn't do such a big sweeping discount if they didn't have the merch to back it up. Again, stranger things have happened, so I can't stand by that 100%. But I'm a feeling that with it being such a big discount, that they have just stacks of merch in the back
that they got to burn through.
But again, I'm like 30% off a Spirit jersey, which everyone...
Please
stand clear of the doors until...
So, yeah, Caitlin was a little concerned in the car today. She's like, I don't want them to be gone by the time we're down there.
Because that's one of the first things to go, especially when it's 30% off.
I know.
But you know what? It is what it is. But I'm hoping
I
can snap
it's
one.
in stock. So yeah, if you're a Magic Key holder, Again, folks, if you're wanting it and you don't have one yet, we are crossing our fingers for you. We hope they allow new sales soon. But if you renewed and you've got a magic key, go and take advantage of that discount. All right, next up, we've got some more Disneyland news, and this one's an interesting one. It looks like the Disneyland entrance, where that Mickey planter box is, the iconic one right in front of the
Disneyland
train
Railroad.
station, and Haunted Mansion are getting artificial grass this week.
I don't know. I understand why they're doing it, but I just hope it doesn't look cheap, especially in front of the Haunted Mansion.
So this is the twist, the curveball. They've already done this throughout some of the park.
Right.
And you probably don't even notice what's fake and what's not.
Well, that's the thing is that I feel like, did you notice that in the graveyard of Haunted Mansion where like all the pets are, did they already have turf there? Because I'm almost positive they did.
Maybe
they didn't.
Yeah, so I know they did it through Cars Land already, and they're every few weeks, this is what the OC Register reported, every few weeks they're doing this in order to make it look like, yeah, they're not ripping out grass all at once, right?
Right.
But again, it's in an effort to save water. Newsflash, people, California does not have a lot of it. So they're being good California residents and replacing it all with drought-resistant landscaping.
Gotcha. I'm sure they'll make it look great. So.
Yeah, so this is the cool thing. Listen to this. So from the OC Register, there's a quote in here. The high-end artificial turf used at Disneyland is harder to spot than the low-cost versions found in residential neighborhoods that look like synthetic green carpeting with visible seams. Disneyland uses 8 different types of artificial turf with gray, brown, and off-white blades intermittently woven in to look more natural.
That's crazy.
Isn't that cool?
I didn't know they were that in depth.
That's like intense.
Well, that's awesome then.
Yeah, could not be cheap. I can't imagine how expensive this whole replacement is. But again, saving water, good for the planet, and also good for money, I'm sure, for Disney on their water bill. So look out for turf throughout the park.
All right, next up we have a new DVC lounge coming to Tomorrowland, which is pretty...
That's big news.
This is crazy.
For DVC holders, we're not, unfortunately.
Yeah, but you know, this DVC lounge is going to be built on the second story of the Star Wars launch bay, which is currently closed.
Yeah, so at least they're putting it to good use because that area's been just kind of sitting there collecting dust for the last, few years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, again, we won't be able to see it other than pictures. But it's going to be called the Star Wars View Station, and it's going to be featuring some very comfortable lounge-style seating with device charging stations, free Wi-Fi, and access to a DVC member service team.
So cool. So it's expected to open in the first half of 2023. Mm-hmm. So it's coming around the corner. Again, for DVC members, that's a cool perk.
I can't wait to see pictures of it.
Yeah. So look out for the DVC Lounge. All right. And for our last news item this week, we've got Disney Prime. No, that's not really the name of this new service, but that is what the Wall Street Journal is calling it. It looks like Disney's working on a membership program modeled after Amazon Prime. And internally, they're referring to it as Disney Prime. Of course, they're not going to rip off Amazon's name, but that's kind of the closest, I guess, example of what they're looking to do. There's not a ton of details available. It's very vague at this point. I don't even know how this really made the news. They just kind of said, they're working on something. We don't know what it is. Christina Shake, I believe her last name's pronounced, the chief communications officer over at Disney, has a quote in the Wall Street Journal, and it says, "Technology is giving us new ways to customize and personalize the consumer experience so that we're delivering entertainment, experiences, and products that are most relevant to each of our guests. A membership program is just one of the exciting ideas that is being explored." That's a perfect example of saying things without saying something.
Right,
so
exactly.
There was a lot of words kind of strung there that didn't say really anything. So I'm not entirely sure what this would look like. What do you think a membership program with Disney looks like?
I mean, I'm assuming it has to be something, I'm hoping it'd be a discount maybe on Shop Disney to get like merchandise discounts, or I don't know, maybe discounts on like movie tickets.
Yeah,
or...
I guess, I think you're right. I think it's going to be, if I could put something together or guess, it will be like a Disney Plus / merch discount on Shop Disney / exclusive access or viewings to like movies early or something.
It'd be cool if they let you watch the new premieres at home on Disney Plus if you had that membership.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I
you know
would
why?
love that, though.
I would love it too, because we've just become homebodies now since the pandemic, and seeing movies is less We don't really want to do it as often as we used to,
Not with our popcorn buckets at home.
right? It's hard to beat that.
Yeah.
Pop secret microwave popcorn. But I
Not
don't think they'll do that because Disney makes a chunk of their money on theatrical releases, and I don't think they will give that up. So they're old school. They like the theater
see.
seats.
I'm curious. Again, nothing new as of now, so we'll find out.
Yeah, so I guess keep your ears open and eyes open for some news out of Disney for a membership program, but I think it's in the really early stages, and you probably won't see anything until next year at the earliest. The music is back, and you know what that brings? It's Disney Trivia Time. Someone loves this music. We can't wait to get in here. Last week, we tied, just like a good old soccer match does sometimes. And I'm looking to bring the heat. I've got some kind of tough questions for you this week.
Great.
I'm not going easy on you. I want to win.
Okay.
I'm getting a little aggressive
I
over
have
here.
a tricky one, so we'll see.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Let's dive in. All right, Caitlin, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You are up first this week. First question. Which Disney park was the first to open outside of the U.S.?
Oh, jeez.
Which Disney park was the first to open outside of the U.S.?
Ooh, I'm going to say... Okay, I'm trying to think of all of them right now. Is it Disneyland Paris?
No. I'll give you one more guess. I thought it was that too.
Okay.
I got it wrong when I was trivializing myself.
Okay.
Not Paris.
Oh, gosh. Tokyo?
Yes.
Yes.
Tokyo.
I almost said Tokyo.
Yes, very close. So Tokyo opened in 1983, and I believe a few years after that, Paris opened.
I don't know why. I feel like Paris is older.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, there it is.
That's a
okay.
good one.
Second question. What year did the Disneyland monorail open? 1951, 1959, 1972, or 1980? What year did the Disneyland monorail open? 51, 59, 72, or 80?
72.
Wrong.
Dang it.
1959.
Of course. I
Yeah.
knew it. Oh, I knew it wasn't 51.
Uh,
They weren't even open.
that's true. Stupid
What
trivia
if I
thing.
would have selected 51?
They opened the monorail before the park even opened. Okay, so I'll give you the first one since you got it.
No.
That was a tough cookie. That was hard this year or this week. So
This year? Yeah.
1 for 2.
Okay.
I'll do 1 for 2. Am I up?
You're up.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
Okay, so for this one, we are going to get a little spooky.
Ooh.
Okay.
Halloween theme.
So I want you to finish the lyric. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Happy haunts materialize. Does it finish with rises spooks of every size?
Oh.
They pretend to terrorize, start to shriek and harmonize, and begin to vocalize.
Oh, this is hard. Okay, hold on. Finish the lyric. Happy haunts materialize. And hold on. Okay, hold on. Materialize. And begin to vocalize.
Correct.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
Okay, good job.
All right.
That was a tricky one because you kind of have to
That's
isn't
hard.
it weird how you have to sing it to yourself
Yeah.
in order to get it? Okay, next up, are you ready?
Yes.
This is a little tricky.
Okay.
How many singing busts are there in the graveyard scene?
4.
No.
No.
I'll
I
give you
spoke
one more.
too soon. 5.
Yes,
Okay.
correct.
It was 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm not going to take credit for that. So
I thought it was
a tie.
6, so I was way off.
You were.
Yeah. Well, those are
just
mine. Those are my spooky trivia
I love the
questions.
spooky trivia questions. Okay, we tied again.
I know.
Can we do
Can
like
I have one more question? I have a tiebreaker
You
question.
do? Okay, go.
Okay. What year, since we're spooky, what year did Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas come out?
Oh, what year?
I'll give you a hint. It's in the 90s.
I know it's in the 90s. Let's go 97. Earlier?
Incorrect.
Later?
Earlier.
Earlier? Really? That's an old
I'll give
movie.
you one more guess.
95.
Close. It came out on October 13th, 1993.
Whoa, that's an old movie.
Yeah, I didn't
Okay.
realize it was that old.
It's older than I am.
It's older than I am.
Okay.
All right.
Well, thank you for your contribution, Tim Burton. You
All
didn't
right.
break our tie, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So we tied again. That's okay. In the good world of soccer or football, wherever you're from, it ties okay.
Yeah, but good questions, though. Those were great.
Those are fun.
I liked yours.
Thanks for joining us this week for Disney Trivia.
Spooky edition.
We'll be back again someday with this game. Most weeks we do it, so look out for it. All right, that brings us to our main segment of this week's episode, and that is Halloween at the Disneyland Resort. So there's a lot. There is a lot that goes on during Halloween, and we just want to kind of summarize it for you, tell you what we think is worth doing, what you can skip. Honestly, you can't skip anything, but what are the highlights for us when we go during Halloween time and just what we enjoy doing.
Yeah. This is honestly, in my opinion, the best season at the Disneyland Resort.
Whoa, controversial.
Said it. It's just me personally. I love Halloween. So just being able to talk about this and kind of go over everything, because sometimes there's a lot of things that are going on and they're easily missed opportunities and fun things to do. So thought we'd lay it all out.
Those are some fighting words, Caitlin, because people go to battle over holiday time versus Halloween time.
Which do you choose?
At this moment, I will choose Halloween. We've talked about it once before, but it's the holiday tracks they choose to play throughout the parks. They get a little annoying after a while. And I love Christmas music. Mariah Carey, Michael Bublé, put them all on.
But, I just have to say there's something about the Halloween season at Disneyland. Like, nothing beats it.
Okay, but really quick, we're gonna go down a rabbit trail here. But what I would disagree with, and what knocks it down a few pegs for me, is that Halloween time takes place in September and October, where it's still 80, 90 degrees down there.
But it's like that in Florida too. Still got to celebrate.
I know. I have a hard time getting into it. Okay. All right. Let's get into it.
All right. Let's do it.
Okay. So first up, let's talk food. And there are a million, trillion, billion items that they come out with for special holiday menus and stuff. So we wanted to kind of break down the top highlighted ones that we decide to eat if we were there at the parks.
All right, so first up over at Fiddler, Pfeiffer, and Practical Cafe, our favorite thing to say on this podcast.
The tongue twister shop.
We have an Oogie Boogie Worms and Dirt Cake, which looks very delicious. It is a chocolate cake filled with raspberry jam, topped with mocha mousse, chocolate cookie, candy worms, and chocolate decor, aka it's gummy worms with Oogie Boogie on top, and it looks delicious.
They like to do paragraph long descriptions to make it sound fancier than it is. It's just good old cake. All right, next up we've got at Refreshment Corner, spicy firefly chips. Spicy corn chips. Just spicy corn. Spicy corn chips.
Hot buttery corn.
Topped with chili cheese and jalapenos. Frito pie is basically what this is. If you've been to Sonic and had that delicious, delicious Frito pie, this is that, except with some spice added to it. Looks delish.
Absolutely delicious.
Perfect snack item.
We need to get that. We didn't get the Firefly ones last time.
We didn't. The one time we tried, they were out.
Bummer. Okay, so next up we have an item at Lamplight Lounge, which is our favorite dining location. It is the Ghost Pepper Nachos.
Ghost pepper?
It doesn't that sound good?
Spooky.
It has charred ghost pepper marinated chicken, smoky ghost pepper cheese sauce, black bean puree, avocado salsa, and seasoned tomatoes.
Yum.
So
Minus the tomatoes, I'm all good.
I'm curious if it's super spicy or if they're just labeling
it
spicy.
So the fact that they called it ghost pepper, those are insanely spicy. I highly doubt they're using large quantities of it.
Right.
I think it's just a little kick. But
I can't wait.
Yeah. They did it for the name, which is fun.
All right. And then over at Plaza Inn, we have a monster Halloween cake. This thing looks sugar-lish.
There's a lot of frosting on that thing.
There is a ton, but it looks kind of cool. It is a devil's food cake with colorful white chocolate mousse and buttercream. It's literally like green, orange, purple frosting with like a bat on top.
All the Halloween
It
colors.
looks super fun. So if you want a little Halloween treat, it's perfect.
All right, last up. Not so much food you can eat, but it's popcorn buckets available pretty much everywhere. They're available at the ice cream carts and the popcorn carts in Town Square, Sleeping Beauty Castle, blah, blah, blah. A lot of them have them, but it is that iconic Mickey Mummy glow-in-the-dark premium bucket.
Which I really, really want. We weren't able to get it last year.
Yes, it sold out very quickly. The thing that gets me with this one, though, is that it's constantly available for half off over at that, what's it called? It's like an outlet in Orlando.
Florida.
Yeah. And so we have to pay full price, which is probably, $22 for this thing?
If not more.
And they get it for like $10.
Yeah. But
Crazy.
again, these are just a couple of our favorites that we're looking to get and grab. So there are many more items.
I've got one more.
Oh, okay.
You're cutting me off,
Surprise.
Caitlin. It's the Zero Light Up Premium Bucket.
Ooh.
Yes.
This is new this year.
Yes, which I don't think a picture's out yet for it, is
No.
there? Okay, so there's going to be a Zero Premium Popcorn Bucket available at some point in the parks. Look out for it because it will go quickly.
Oh, yeah, especially the mummy one.
Yes.
I've been seeing polls all over Instagram of which one are you going to get?
Oh, great.
And I'm like, no.
Am I going to have to fight some kid for it?
No.
Be like, give me your popcorn bucket, boy.
He's like, it's all right.
Yeah. I'm going to have my dad beat you up.
Yeah.
I'll be like, yes, you should. All right. Let's go over entertainment because there's a lot of options. Here are some of the highlights, and we'll kind of tell you what ones are worth going to and maybe ones to skip. First off, they've got the Dia de los Muertos celebration, and it's pretty much a parade, right? Over near Paradise Garden area.
And they have a couple of Coco elements from the movie over in that area as well.
So cool.
Which we love.
Miguel's
this
out
celebration area.
there.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Yes.
They have yummy food, and it's just a party over there. I love it.
Yeah. Next up, you've got costumed Cars characters over in Carsland. So they've got, what's his name? I almost called him Radiator Springs.
Lightning McQueen.
Lightning McQueen.
Mater.
Owen Wilson. Mater.
Luigi.
All dressed up and
Oh, yeah.
cool. That one is worth seeing, especially if you have little ones. Those are worth the pictures. Next up, you've got Halloween Screams, which is a fireworks / light show on Main Street. Now, it depends. Unfortunately, during this time of year, it gets a little windy at night, and that can cancel fireworks, which they turn into a fun light show, essentially, is what it is.
Yeah.
And music.
And then next up, we have something actually in downtown Disney. It's a pumpkin hunt. It's going on through September 9th through October 31st. And it's basically something fun that you can do with your family where you can go search for pumpkins. And at the end, you get a prize, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, it costs $9.99, and you can buy it at pretty much every single downtown Disney location, store location. You got the Disney Dress Shop, World of Disney, the Pin Trader Shop, all the hotel shops. Anywhere down there you can buy it. It's $9.99, and again, you get a fun prize at the end. It's not hard at all. I don't think we mentioned the name. It's called Pluto's Pumpkin Pursuit.
Yes.
And it's fun for little ones. They will get it. They will get the prize unannounced. We don't know what the prize is, but $10, I don't know, it's hard to pass up.
Yes. And then one of the locations that you can get that prize is over at World of Disney. So
Oh, cool.
look forward to that.
All right. Next up, we've got the attractions. So these are the attractions that have some kind of Halloween special edition to them, and it's just fun.
These are some of my favorite things to look forward to, especially during this season.
So, Caitlin, what's the number one? The one that everyone waits 4 hours in line for.
Oh my gosh. Haunted Mansion Holiday.
Yes, the best holiday overlay pretty much in existence.
It's so good.
So this thing lasts from September all the way till the end of the year at the end of the Christmas season. So it applies to both.
I love it. It's so fitting. And again, I love that Disney can take two holidays and mash them together where it's like you don't feel weird celebrating Halloween in December and don't feel weird
Right?
celebrating the holidays in October.
It is a cool bridge.
It's great.
That movie is so unique in the fact that it can bridge those two
Yeah.
holidays
And
that
people-
are polar opposites, in my
People
opinion.
love it.
Yes.
Us included. So
Very good overlay. You've got Luigi's Hunkin' Halloween, which is fun. We don't ride it that often. I mean, if you had to skip any of them, this is probably the one to skip, to be quite honest. It's a weird ride.
yeah,
But
it's all right. It's fun for kids.
If it's a low wait, go on it. Do not wait more than, I would argue, 30 minutes for this ride.
No.
Yeah.
And then next up we have Mater's Graveyard Jamboree.
This one's fun
It's so fun.
because it adds music to it, and there's always music, but this one has Halloween music to it, and it's just all themed really well. It's
I
a
love
good.
the theming, especially that big wooden sign where
Yes,
it looks
yeah.
like it's the theming is amazing over there.
Really, really good. And finally, you've got Guardians of the Galaxy Monsters After Dark. This overlay actually starts when the sun sets. This one's unique. It's a normal ride. It's the normal ride throughout the day, and right when that sun sets, it turns into Monsters After Dark, which I will say, warning, it's frightening for children. There's not like jump scares or anything, but the music's a very loud. It's fun, but it's like this like screamo metal music.
And at the end, there's a very loud, like monstrous bang. It
Yes.
like literally scared me to death the first time we went on
It's
it.
frightening. So if you have little ones and they're already afraid enough to ride the ride, I would argue do this before the sun sets.
Yeah.
And let them get used to the ride itself, and then maybe throw the curveball of, hey, this one's a little scary and has some scary sounds. Let's do it. So yeah, at the end of the day, the fright scale, it's definitely low, but it's enough to where little ones would probably get a little spooked out.
But if you are a fan of this ride, it is the best during Halloween. It is just, it's so much fun.
It's really fun.
I can't even tell you. I prefer it over the normal one.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's a fun one. And it's worth the slight nausea you'll feel.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The stomach feeling going up to your throat. So the best themed area. So this is a list of the things that we think are the best areas of the park to spend some time in and get those Halloween feels. Caitlin, what's number one?
So one of the most classic ones is the overlay over at Cars Land. It is absolutely beautiful at night. If you can catch it right when the sun's going down, they have I think it's I Put a Spell on You music come on. And it's this whole thing where the lights are tuned in with the music and the lights all over Cars Land are coming on. It's so spooky and fun. We try and get it, watch it every time we're there. But there's just so many cool things down that street that you can see, lights and decor, and it's great.
Cars Land is the most impressive land Disney's built in years.
It's beautiful.
It is so cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes that park. So catch the Halloween madness over there. The end of Buena Vista Street. I didn't know a good way to say this. I kept asking Caitlin, how do I word this? So where the fountain is and where Carthay Circle's at, what's that called? I don't even know what that area is called.
It's the center of fun.
The center of fun. So the center of DCA, essentially, where Carthay Circle's at and the fountain and all that good stuff, that is the best Halloween theming, hands down, around the park. They've got the purple lights up in the trees. They've got bats coming out of Carthay Circle restaurant. They've got Oogie Boogie up there.
The projections up on Carthay.
Yeah, so it's like a skeleton at one point, and then Oogie Boogie comes out right at some point, right?
Yeah, it's almost like the worm, the snake thing coming out of him.
The snake, yes.
And then the iconic Headless Horseman in front of Elias & Co., which is so
cool. Again, Disney does such a great job of, it's just creepy and kind of scary enough, but not enough to frighten little ones.
Right.
So, it's cool enough to where adults are going to go, wow, that's impressive, that's spooky, but little ones aren't going to be screaming, going, oh, there's a Headless Horseman chasing after me. The Mickey Pumpkin, the iconic Mickey Pumpkin on Main Street is, what's his name? What's
Winky
the nickname?
Blinky.
Why do they call him Winky
So
Blinky?
on one side, he's winking.
And he's blinking?
Now that I said it out loud, I don't know.
I don't like the nickname. It's weird to me.
I think he's blinking with one eye or something. No,
well,
that's winking.
But are there lights inside of him? Does he kind of blink?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
literally everyone on Instagram calls him Winky Blinky. So
that's
I'm
very weird.
Hey,
okay, I'll take it. But
that pumpkin is absolutely beautiful, though. We watched one of the Disney Plus shows on how they paint that pumpkin and kind of get it ready for the season.
Really?
Remember, it was where they go through and get ready for the holiday times at the park. They showed how they have to paint that before every season.
Well, it gets obliterated by the sun.
Yeah, and it is just, that thing is beautiful, and it's so iconic when you see it.
Yes.
It's so exciting.
One thing I forgot to mention before we get to our last point here, the entrances of the parks in general. So you've got above DCA, you've got Oogie Boogie and the tortilla, essentially.
The tortilla.
Before it's done.
It's spooky, though, out there.
It is. And so you've got his audio going. He says stuff randomly.
He's laughing.
He's laughing. They've got bats coming out behind him.
So good.
And the thing that adds a cherry on top is it just happens to be around this season that the crows all come out. And they just populate that entire area. There's crows everywhere.
Especially over at Disneyland.
All on the trees.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So again, it just happens to happen around the fall time.
Yeah.
And so for a second there, I said, do they lay stuff out to attract crows? And I remember having to ask someone and they said, no, it's just
that season.
That time of year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then over at Disneyland, their entrance, the beautiful character pumpkins, they're so cool. It's so iconic.
The pumpkins all shaped like the characters. And
yes.
It's fun.
I can't wait to see it.
It's a fun time.
I'm so excited.
The last thing we have on this list for just kind of best themed areas is the Main Street Pumpkin. So not only is there a giant Mickey head, but if you walk down Main Street, there are these really cool, really, I don't know, how do you explain it? Very emotional pumpkins.
Some of them are themed. Isn't there one that looks like Elvis or something?
Something like that.
Yeah, they're really neat to look at. So if you ever look up on Main Street,
yes,
check them out.
Make sure to spend time. So I mentioned this to Caitlin the other day. We were at a restaurant and I said, I never look up and just notice architecture and buildings or just weird stuff. I didn't recognize, we were at P.F. Chang's. And so I looked up in their lobby and looked and I'm like, oh, look, they've got really cool chandeliers up there.
Right.
So if you can do that at P.F. Chang's and notice things, imagine the things you'll notice at Disneyland. Take 5 minutes and just look up or look down and you'll notice details you've never noticed before.
Yeah.
And that's one of them. The pumpkins are really fun to
They're
look at.
so pretty at night too, when they're like flickering and
Yes.
oh my gosh.
The feels. All right, lastly, Oogie Boogie. So I know this is something that not everyone can participate in. Us included, we actually have not been at all, and we're not going this year.
No, they're all sold out.
It is. We're also that
Crazy.
right when we got serious about looking, like considering it, because it's a pretty penny. It would have been a few $100s for us to go, and that's 2 people. So imagine a whole entire family on top of an existing trip. That's a chunk of change. But if you're going, it's going to be a blast. Again, we hope to go soon, but it's the same thing. It's the same thing this year. It looks like starts at 6 p.m., ends at 11, and early admission. So I would take advantage of this. You're paying for it. Starts at 3 p.m. So you can get into the park at 3, but the party officially starts at 6 o'clock. And looks like they've got the usual after hours party stuff. So the meet and greets, a special parade that happens down, is it Main Street? Or is it? No, Buena Vista Street.
Buena Vista Street. And then it goes over by the pier, like in front of Ariel.
Okay.
So like that's when you get to see the Headless Horseman.
Paradise Gardens, I think that.
Oh, yeah.
Called.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have all the candy stations in Villains Grove, which I am so excited to see one day because that thing is amazing.
Yeah. So for some people that may not know, that is the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. Yes. So over there, over by Grizzly River Run, they totally themed that thing out. I mean, it is the coolest thing. Fog machines, lights, crazy things.
It's
I don't
spooky.
know. Stages for these villains to stand there, and it is very cool. If you haven't seen it and you don't, well, if you want to spoil it, I don't know. We've done it ourselves. We watched it on YouTube. Yeah. And it is very cool.
It's amazing. I think one of my highlights, can I say, or spoiler just in case, I don't know if they're bringing this back.
Yeah.
But last year they did they had white roses to kind of go with Alice in Wonderland with the queen, with painting the roses red. And then randomly like the roses would be red. It would like these effects. It was so cool.
Yeah. So that is probably worth the price of admission in itself. But
I can't wait to go one day. It's one thing I've been looking forward to literally forever.
Yeah.
So all of you that are going, you are amazing.
You are very lucky.
Have so much fun.
And I did brush over this, but we will spend a little more time on it. The special parade. So this is where I think a lot of people spend the money for. They go to the candy stations with their kids, but for the whole entire family, that parade's pretty iconic. The Headless Horseman comes down. You've got the grave diggers from Haunted Mansion dragging their shovels across the ground and making them spark. There are a lot of very cool floats and characters, and that's where most people will spend their time, I'd argue, is at that parade.
I can't wait.
You can't wait to go?
To hopefully see it.
I'm like, are we going? Did you buy me tickets?
Oh my gosh, I wish.
Oh, geez. But overall, Halloween is probably our favorite time of year at the park. It's true. It is just amazing down there and a really good time. So if you're going or haven't gone yet and you want to, you really should. Just plan a trip for September or October. You will not be disappointed.
I'm hoping that when we do go, because we are going this month, that it is cooling down just a little
Just
bit.
a little. That'd be nice. It's 100. I think it's going to top out down there around 102 degrees. And again, you may go from like, hey, I'm from Arizona. That's nothing. 102 degrees in Anaheim is just a different beast. Again, we've mentioned before a million times, the sun's very intense down there and they've got some humidity. So it's kind of feels like the Midwest right now. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah. But I'm hoping it gets back to the normal weather, which is normally like high
normal
80s,
weather of 92.
But however, it does cool down at night normally.
Yes, true.
So I'm hoping that kind of gets into gear when we go. But you know what? If not, it is what it is. We'll come back to you live with a hot trip report.
I know, yes. We're going in hopeful, and then we'll come back with the trip report and be like, it was miserable. I was sweating the whole time.
Oh my gosh, never in Halloween.
But this one is fun because we're going with family.
Yeah,
so it's a bigger group, and it's more exhausting when there's a big group.
Yeah.
But
it's interesting because when Caleb and I go, it's one of those things where we don't ride a ton of rides. We kind of just people watch, eat, hang out.
Yeah.
But
eat some more.
With our family, they love go, go, go. So it's so fun to see because they don't go as much as we do. So it's just so
Especially
funny.
My youngest brother.
He's so cute.
He loves just bouncing around. He'll look on his app and he goes, okay, we're making it sound like he's 12. He's like 20.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
I don't know.
Sorry. But he's
20.
Old.
Yeah.
And he's like, he'll go on his app and he's like, oh, let's head over to...
let's go to Haunted Mansion.
And then he's like, okay, and Credit Coaster's 15 minutes. Let's head over to the other park.
He's like, let's go to Alice in Wonderland.
Carson, chill, dude.
Yeah.
So he likes to bounce around and we love him for it, but he's pumped to go. And yeah, it's just fun. It's a unique fun when we go with family. But Thank you so much for listening. That brings us to the end of our episode. You can find us over on Instagram at Market House Podcast and Twitter at Market House Pod. Make sure to follow us over there for all the fun pictures and what's happening in our lives.
Yeah, stay tuned. We've got a Alaska cruise coming up.
Yes.
A trip to Disneyland for the holidays.
And some more. We've
So
got
many
other
more.
stuff, right?
There's tons of things coming,
Yeah,
so
tons
stay
of
tuned.
stuff. If you haven't already, please leave us a review over on Apple Podcast and or Spotify. That would be so helpful to us, and it's just a free way to kind of support the show.
Yeah, we
and
appreciate it.
Again, really appreciate the folks that have already left one already. Join us next week for another episode. This has been...
Spooky.
Bye.
Bye.